Mr. Shannon, do you agree with infanticide?
Well, I think you're using inflammatory language to basically describe a situation that does not happen. We don't have infanticide happening. Doctors would not do that, and neither would folks who have carried pregnancy.
Okay, would a healthy child, do you agree if a healthy child is born, that is that woman's right to decide if it lives or dies?
What I think is, based on your question, you have a very low opinion of pregnant people. Because if you think that anybody would carry—
Answer the question.
Excuse me.
Answer the question.
I'm answering it. Do you
no,
want
you're not.
You want to answer, or you want to keep talking over witnesses? What I'm telling you is, nobody would carry a pregnancy and then decide on a Monday because they are bored that they want to have an abortion.
Norman then turned to Fatima Goss Graves, who is the National Women's Law Center leader, and the exchange went just about as well as that last one. Let's watch that.
With all those words, you do agree with basically murdering a child after they're born. Miss Graves, could you answer that? Would you just yes or no?
I have to say, Congressman, how you just characterize the representative statement is extremely inflammatory and the type of thing that it's dangerous.
And what
you guys have been talking today about the threats against crisis pregnancy centers, which I assume are serious and are terrible. The threats that people who work on abortion access take every single day.
I'm assuming that you're for infanticide. I would also say that her language, that health—
Madam Chair,
okay.
Gentleman's time. My whole life, and Democrats are told before they go testify before Congress, no matter what lunatic Republican says, and almost all the Republican congressmen are straight out of a mental institution. They're all liars and lunatics, okay? No matter what insane thing they say, you have to be super polite and deferential. Oh yes, sir, absolutely, sir. Maybe, sir, could be, sir, I don't know, sir, right? They train them that way. Do not ever fight back against Republicans. Why? Why? What? Hey, if the guy's a lunatic, why didn't you call him a lunatic? If I was them, look, I love what they did. That was great. I love that they fought back. And the dumb rules of establishment Democrats that have ruined this country are beginning to break. The walls are cracking and people are going, no, I'm just gonna answer the goddamn guy. This guy's an idiot, right? Yeah, but and I love their answers, but I would have said, Congressman Norman, you appear to be an idiot. There is no law in the country that says you can kill someone after they're born. That has nothing to do with abortion. How do I know? Because they're already born. Abortion is when they're not born. Are you really that stupid, Congressman Norman? I would have asked. And then people would have been outraged. Oh, the decorum has been broken. No, the decorum was broken by that goddamn liar who pretended that we're killing children. That broke decorum, not me calling him a liar. So I like that they were aggressive. Do more. Do more, hit harder.
Of course that's true. And these are attempts on the part of the GOP to take this brute force approach to a wedge cultural issue. And this is their strategy and their game plan that has worked. And so what Cenk is saying is something very important. If they're going to use brute force, you can't respond with decorum. And you saw the aggressive nature of questioning from Norman. I mean, that could have carried that media moment, but instead there was slapback. I really believe that the messaging in this area particularly is important because they're taking this issue. You could say they've already won in many ways on this wedge issue. I mean, it's grotesque that this country has gone in this direction, and yet now you have to apply with utter aggression the aggressiveness of someone like Norman and the GOP that are trying to take the narrative with brute force.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also what's going on here is they didn't accept the framing of the question. It really reminds me of Pete Buttigieg's appearance on Fox News. If someone's asking you a ridiculous line of questioning, you don't have to accept that framing. You can respond by clarifying that the framing is actually the issue here so that people aren't talking past each other, which happens all the time when people testify on the floor of Congress.
Yeah. And by the way, if establishment Democrats tell you any rules, ignore them. If they're on paper, burn them safely in a garbage can where they belong. Okay, all those rules are stupid and they've destroyed the Democratic Party. At every occasion when you run into a lying Republican, you should fight back super aggressively, politically and rhetorically, never physically, okay? But don't ever let Republicans lie and get away with it. And that's all they ever do. And if you hear a Republican talking, it is very likely that they're lying.